Well, basically in 2020, the European Union declared that it's going to decarbonize up until the year 2050. China also did the same by the year 2060. In the US, you have the Inflation Reduction Act basically doing the same. And so for the first time in history, we have three major superpowers, setting up a deadline for a technological transition. That's why we are seeing an increasingly visible process of fast-tracking mining and other projects during the green transition. It's not happening only in Serbia. It's happening also in Portugal, in the Min de Barroso. It's also happening in the Atacama Desert of Chile. It's also happening in Germany as well and in France. So a lot of these projects are now seeking funds. They're seeking ways and lanes in which they can fast-track all these procedures, and this has been translating into less environmental standards, more pressure on the local population, such as the one we have seen in Serbia, and basically these people are associating these projects with neocolonialism. So the way, from this perspective of the Serbian population, the way this has been done is basically that without any sort of announcement, you have a German chancellor coming to the country, signing up deals regarding Mercedes-Benz. So you have foreign politicians supporting a local authoritarian leader. Ever since then, we have had probably the most numerous protest movement since Serbia's existence, basically. It was almost every town, every village, every home, a lot of politicians, actors, even the Serbian church was protesting this.
Approximately how many people have left already or have sold?
I cannot tell you even approximately. I just know that they say that they bought majority of the houses, and that is partially true. They bought the majority of the houses that are needed for the mine, but the rest of the houses, like this, what you see in these houses over there, are still there. People live there.
Okay.
So actually, in this village, they bought only minority of the houses.
Okay. But the ones in the front, they bought?
Yeah.
Okay. And these are actually the closest from the mine, no?
Yeah. This is the house of Zlatko, if you know.
Ja sam Marijana Petković iz Gornjih Nedeljica i član sam udruženja Ne damo Jadar, koje se bori protiv otvaranja rudnika litijuma u Gornjim Nedeljicama od strane Rio Tinta. Znači, mi smo Evropska unija sve to gleda i pušta Vučića da radi to što radi. Na to smo razočarani. Mi nismo, da se razumemo, mi nismo protiv stranih investicija, ali moraju da se poštuju zakoni, moraju da se stave filteri, na primer, i naravno ne može se dozvoliti da se na plodnom zemljištu u kome nemate rudnik pravi rudnik. bez obzira što taj litijum hoće Evropa, to nas uopšte ne zanima. Jer mi vidimo da se i Evropska unija neoglašavanjem povodom pitanja ljudskih prava u Srbiji, kršenja zakona, ne oglašava i time i ona na neki način saučestvuje, odnosno vlast. Dana kad smo im pred svima rekli da neće otvoriti rudnik i da ćemo se mi boriti, njima je to bilo smešno, smatrali su nas da smo mi neka mala grupica ljudi koja ne može ništa da promeni, ali evo dokazali smo da i mali čovek može da promeni sve što hoće, ako je to za opšte dobro.
Recimo da sam tu posebno osjetljiv na šolce. Nemačke je da ona sačuva svoju prirodu, svoju zemlju i zdravlje svog stanovništva, a da ono što je treba dobije iz Srbije, bez obzira na to što ona ima veće zalihe litijuma i koji bi se mogao na neškodljiv način da eksploatiše. Znači, mi ne verujemo ni Evropi, ni Nemačkoj po pitanju eksploatacije litijuma.
Očekuješ od Evropske unije?
Pa rekao sam, oni pričaju o zelenoj agendi gde bi Evropa trebala da ostane zelena, a Srbija da bude uništena.
So the main concern of the mine is environmental. Basically, the mine is located in a densely populated area of 22 villages with more than 20,000 people. And also it's a water source area. This leads to the possibility of our water sources becoming poisoned if there was a sort of an accident happening due to the mine.
We, as a hydrogeologist, we cannot support such a mining big project because on a distance of about 15 kilometers downstream from the planned site for the mining, we have one of the largest groundwater reservoir of the country. In case of the pollution of this large reservoir, we have no other options of that capacity in our country. So it is really very dangerous to do any sensitive activities to the environment in such a large extent as they plan to do in the area of Jadar.
Also in 2021, the Serbian government attempted to change the laws on expropriation, especially to expropriate the homes within the vicinity of the mine.
So in fact, if you do your successful geological exploration and verify the mine ore reserves, you will obtain the permit for continually doing also mining without any tendering, without let's say open procedure as it was until that time. So this is one problem. Another problem appeared with introducing the expropriation right to the government. So in case that your property is somewhere just over the potential minefield, they will move you from there, even without maybe proper compensation for your land.
situacija katastrofa, pokušavaju da nam otmu našu zemlju, mi naše ne damo, nikad im nećemo ni dati, mi se bavimo poljoprivredom, od ovoga živimo, od ovoga izdržavamo decu i ovo je naše i naše niko neće oteti.
Tinto, ja sumnjam da on uopšte govori ono što misli. Oni govore ono što bi narod voleo da čuje, a to je da neće biti uticaja rudnika na život, na prirodu, na zdravlje. Da će to biti značajan uticaj na prirodu, devastirajući uticaj i na vodu, i na zemlju, i na vazduh, i na biljni i životinjski svet. Da je dobro, to ne bi ponudili Srbiji, nego bi oni sami eksploatisali i sami uzimali profit od toga. Znači, kao što sam rekao, za njih je Srbija žrtvovana zona. Mi ne verujemo tu. Niti nas interesuje profit ako je rizik bilo kakav.
Copper production in Europe started nearby here, near Majdanpek, between here and Majdanpek. This Rudna Glava. This village now it's in its disappearing because of mostly of our government, because in Krivelj we have 3 mines here, Cerovo and Krivelj, and this Kriveljski Kamen, and maybe a 4th underground from Jama, from Bor, is going through Krivelj territory. It's all impacting living here, and in the meantime there are dams, there are flotation, so we are now in this situation that more than half of all people sold their properties here and they are selling. Because they need a lot of water in this process of flotation. This ore is this grinded in fine powder and mixed with water and chemical agents, and they produce this copper concentrate of 20% of copper in it. They start with ore with 0.2% of copper, so lot of waste mud is deposited in those lakes downstreams. I will tell you, here for Bor County was done some official medical study. Its average living is 10 years less than rest of the Serbia. a lot of young people develop lung and cancer disease in those mines. So we are occupied, and here environment is not longer healthy. We had last year big flood, so that river runs just a nearby open pit Veliki Krivelj. They didn't make maybe preparations on time. If they knew, maybe they saved the open pit, but flooded the village. And here no insurance company wants to insure your house. Why? Because maybe it's near open pit.
And the new law adopted in the 2015, which even more facilitate to the mining company to get a large profit, pay a relatively low taxes for the extracted minerals and exported minerals from our country. And in fact, we are now, can be even considered as a kind of the mining colony for this activity.
Because in Africa they raised above 10% for this mining rent for the state, for the mines, from the profit of the mine. In Serbia it's 3%, minimum of the minimum in the world. We don't know for sure, but people tell us how much they gave for company gave them for their lands and property. From here we can see good. This one is not, this one is not, and mine is not, and my brother's, and all the others are sold.
But I will fight to the end. You know, I will always be fighting for Serbia. And then he signs all the bad agreements. So Dundee also it presents to our public like a responsible company. They had operations in Armenia, where they polluted great swaths of land with their mining waste. But after years of lobbying with central government and local authorities and pouring money, they managed to open mine in 2018. And the other project that Dundee had is smelter in Namibia, where there were multiple toxic poisonings of local community and workers with arsenic that was stored in open, and it polluted and the soil and water, and almost everything. They're moving all around the world, making people lives miserable. And when they are done, they just transfer themselves to the new place, and they reinvent themselves, presenting like they are some responsible company that cares for environment. This is a place called Choka Rakita. It means willow tree hill. And this is where the company, Dundee Mining Company, transferred all operations in last two years. And they were exploring on great depths here and planning to open an underground mine. So, for instance, this part of Serbia is recognized in former Yugoslavia as part where we have manganese, which is also critical raw material needed for green transition and for army industry.
This is very interesting actually to be recorded.
A fighting truck. It's a donation from European Union. It was given some 5 or 6 years ago to the local municipality in some of IPA programs, and shortly after it was transferred to the local water supply company, and now they use it not for extinguishing fires, which are occasional here, but they are using it to bring the drinking water to the drill sites of the Canadian company Dundee, and that's against the law on waters.
Da, znaš šta, tamo poslije idemo po blatu i travi od potoka prema nama, znaš, a sve vreme usput.
Problem, te gume baš nisu za takvu površinu.
Sad tu je jedino dobro što valjda ne može se zaglavimo baš.
Pa ne može se zaglaviti. We can even get closer if you want to take it. Yeah, we can go closer. We should go closer. We should go closer. Site that's the blunt proof on how corruption is the strongest lever that actually any company is using in their activities.
I've outlined publicly available data which show and prove that increased mining investments have not translated into higher standards of living for Serbia. Why didn't Congo evolve? Why didn't Rwanda evolve? So why didn't all of these peripheral states, which are closely connected with the mining sector, no country has actually transformed from a peripheral country to a core country only thanks to mining.
You have the whole eastern Serbia sacrificed to the international corporations, Chinese, and Dundee Precious Metals is one of the companies present here as well. Serbia does not have a space and a capacity for mining industry to be developed, and even if it had, we see everywhere what's happening with mining. Do we need the best phone that we could get every and each year? Do we need best camera? Do we need the best car? This is not a necessity. It's a comfort, and it's coming at what price? Because we don't see the dead bodies, we don't think that it's happening, but the folks, it is happening in Africa, all around the world, and it's spreading now to the edges of Europe, which is apparently safeguarding and has interest in these companies being present. But again, these companies are being privileged, and this is an